Yes, my Straight Talk family, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. Just gotta believe that Patches will be here, even though a bit tardy for tonight, for which I do humbly apologize, my Straight Talk family, and to say in the process, a very pleasant night to you. Should I say greetings to you wherever you are on the globe, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and communicate with you all over the globe from the beautiful corner of the earth, an area called St. Kitts and Nevis, one federation with two beautiful islands. So let me say good night, St. Kitts, good night, Nevis, and let me say good night to the entire Caribbean region. And as I said, greetings to the globe, because we are all around the world and we reach and communicate with you as well in the Kittitian, Nevisian, and Caribbean diaspora. Some of you are in Asia. There's some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. Some of you in Africa. There's some of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning. And I'm at liberty as well to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And if you're a first timer, I say welcome and thank all those who continue to share the link, because whenever you do, we do get first timers and we are eternally grateful for that. If you are in that category as a first timer, I bid you a very special welcome. And in the process, I wish to inform you as well that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, I will always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I'm always reminded by the words of a favorite hymn of mine written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Haydn. And it goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and the right. And we are standing firm for godly justice, and we do bring all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all know the blessing of the doing of God's will. Having said that, my Straight Talk family, I want to reassure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We don't try to make it more interesting, neither by omission or by exaggeration. And Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy, because we always try to lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty to present what I call the unvarnished truth, the whole truth, the plain truth, nothing but the truth, especially when it comes to governance in St. Kitts and Nevis and wherever you are in the world. Because this program joins us together with people across the Federation. We are joined with people in the diaspora around the world. So we entertain diverse views because we are different people. So we entertain different views. Some will agree with the positions of truth that we always try to advance on Straight Talk, and some will disagree, and that's fine. Like I said, we entertain a diversity of views. But please do not disappoint me or sadden me by ever becoming disagreeable. In the meanwhile, let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for all who share the link. As you bring first-timers, please continue to do so. And for the first-timers, if you love what you hear, go tell it over the mountain. Go tell it around the world. If you don't, find some way to come and tell me. Okay? But let me remind you as well that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded to call, the numbers are on your screens. The email address, for those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity as well, that address is on your screen. But we give you access as well via Alexa, for those who have that application. All you have to say is, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. And we thank the owner for providing us this access at a modest cost. And some of you hear me say cost, some of you have also made donations, continue to make those donations They support our efforts here on Straight Talk. And for all who sent donations, I say a big, big thank you. No matter what amount. We don't stipulate any particular amount. That's your choice. But let me assure you, no matter what is your contribution, please don't stop, because it helps us to continue this important service. Yes, and it's a public service, I may add. So others who wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen and you'll access a payment form. Just follow it. It's a very simple and confidential process. Very confidential process, my Straight Talk family. You need not worry. But all you have to do, my Straight Talk family, is to follow that process. So thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. And I must say a special welcome. It is a must. I have to, believe it or not, say a special welcome to my junior brigade, because they all listen to me and they want to hear their names called: Jasmine, Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Young Ru, Jamal, Travis Travon, and my grandson Neymar. If I don't call his name and his good friend's name Soraya, I would be in trouble. How is Elizabeth as well as the special lady in St. Louis? And my observations in review, it's an integral part of the program, and I want to inform you as well, because it's many look forward to that, I know. And after my observations in review, we will move to our thesis for tonight, which I have titled "A Confused Prime Minister, Influenced by Deceitful Premier." And our first observation, I know many are asking about the weather, what's happening with the weather here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we can say, if I get that pulled up anytime now, there is a report that the tropical storm watch remains in effect for St. Kitts and Nevis. The tropical storm watch means a tropical storm poses a possible threat to the specified area within 48 hours. And the maximum sustained winds for Tropical Storm Jerry have now reached 65 miles per hour. That's 100 kilometers for those who are into the metric system. With higher gusts, it is 287 miles or 414 kilometers east-southeast of St. Kitts and Nevis. So gradual strengthening is forecast during the next few days, beg your pardon. And tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles or 280 kilometers, mainly east of the center. So let's keep our ears and eyes open, as shown, because the tropical storm Jerry, it can increase in terms of velocity, in terms of speed. So what we are looking at, my Straight Talk family, is lots of rainfall will be anticipated. Rain totals up to 2 to 4 inches possible during the passage, which could cause flooding, mainly in low-lying and flood-prone areas. So be careful with those guts, my Straight Talk family. For those who like to become enterprising, we warn you, stay away from those guts, the college guts, the Westbourne guts in some parts of the country there. If you see the water getting and rising higher, please do not try to cross the guts. There's also a story we're following with what seemed to be a military buildup in Trinidad and Tobago. We understand the military aircraft is sitting right now as we speak at Piaco International, and there's some two naval vessels on their way to Chaguaramas. That's where I think there is that Coast Guard base in Trinidad and Tobago. We've heard the comments of Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and we know she has said she is supportive of the U.S. quote-unquote drug interdiction and of those drugs that seem to apparently are taking drugs to and perhaps from the Venezuelan mainland. But we are following that story as well, my Street Dog family. But I'll make those my two observations for the night and move right into my thesis, which I said I've titled "A Confused Prime Minister Influenced by Deceitful Premier Brantley." And my Street Dog family, fellow citizens and residents, I must address my fellow Kittians and Nevisions as well in the diaspora in particular, and all viewing and or listening to Straight Talk at this moment in time. And I will add that these are serious times. I come before you one more time, not with fear, but with fire in my heart. And that's the fire of patriotism, the fire of purpose, and the fire of people power. Our beloved Federation, I submit, is at a critical juncture. We are a nation rich in culture. We are a nation rich in pride. We are a nation rich in resilience. But increasingly, sad to state, we are governed or being governed by confusion, contradiction, and quiet surrender to foreign interests. The Prime Minister, for example, from the moment he took office, has shown himself to be reactive rather than resolute, uncertain vision. He showed himself as being inconsistent in action. And tragically, he has demonstrated his disconnectivity from the people he swore to serve. He's disconnected, in simple language, from the people he served. Last conversation we had in my Street Dog family, I proposed that it was time to amend our Constitution and not to change our boundaries. Because there are those who want to gerrymander the boundaries and are very keen to do just that. And they would cite the requirements of our Mickey Mouse Constitution, according to a friend of mine. Won't call his name. You can see him laughing now. And even our Prime Minister has confirmed it has to be a Mickey Mouse Constitution, my Street Dog family, if the Prime Minister can say this and be happy with this, my Street Dog family.
There's a document that we will soon reveal, well, make popular. the discussions around the Constitution. I think now, if I can find it, I will tell you the discussion that took place around the Constitution. And hardly anything that Sir Llewellyn Moore, who was a legal luminary, he was ignored. And a lot of the things are coming back to bite us. So in the Constitution, you have a Nevis, you have a St. Kitts Nevis, but you don't have a St. Kitts. There is no St. Kitts in the Constitution. And that is one of the things that Sir Llewellyn Moore highlighted. How can you just exclude St. Kitts from the Constitution? And therefore, that is why I want to really take this opportunity to speak to it, because there needs to be a broader discussion on the Constitution. But nonetheless, I think there's always room for next generation to look at the matters and to deal with the matters accordingly.
Has to be absurd, don't you think? It needs to be a broader discussion on the Constitution, he states. But he wants to leave it to the next generation. What kind of prime minister we have? A confused man. So if there are issues with the Constitution, then amend the Mickey Mouse Constitution we have. But instead of doing that, my Shootok family, our prime minister decides that there's room for a next generation to deal with that matter. That's why I say we are a nation adrift, my people. A nation adrift, my people. And at the helm we have a leader who appears increasingly unsure, increasingly reactive, and increasingly dependent, not on the will of the people, not on the sound, or not on sound counsel rather, but on the quiet influence of a premier who has not earned our trust. Let us speak plainly. Leadership is not merely about holding a title, not at all. It's about vision. It's about values. It's about the courage to act decisively and transparently in the interest of the people. But what we see, instead of a head of government who hesitates, deflects, and lies, and follows often at the urging of a premier whose decisions serve shadows more than sunlight. And in this vacuum of clarity, we suffer because policies are made behind closed doors. Strategies shift, it seems, in the wind. Announcements are made without plans. And when the people ask for answers, they are met with silence, or worse, spin. We cannot afford to be governed by whispers. We cannot afford a situation where the leader we elect is led himself, where every major decision is filtered through private interests, personal ambition, or political gamesmanship. This is not just bad governance, my Shootok family. This is a betrayal of public trust. Now, someone will say this is politics, but I say this is a failure of duty. We deserve leadership that leads, that listens, that levels with the people. Leadership that can stand on its own 2 feet honestly, accountably, and independently. The time for half-truths is over. The time for manipulation by proxy must end. We must call for transparency in decision-making, accountability in leadership, and above all, the restoration of integrity at the highest levels of government. What we have is a bunch of experts who don't seem to care about what they do or even what they say. Someone told me today that the junior minister, Iselin Philip, is on leave, gone to get she baby. But nobody knows who has replaced her. And that's not our business, someone said to me. That's private business. How could a public officer leave her duty for whatever reason and the country don't know? The country that's paying that officer don't know. My straight dog family, I want us to understand that all these issues are not about party. They are not about power. They are all about principle. And if those currently in charge cannot find the will to lead with clarity and courage, then it's time for new leaders who will. This Terence Michael Drew administration has occupied office now for more than 3 years, with 2 to go. But a reliable source linked to the Drew-led Labour Party reveals that general elections, hear this, general elections will be called in 2026. So let me encourage all of us to be prepared. Yes, there are lots of rumblings between 2 parties in the opposition. That's not for me to deal with now. Because right now, our federation is in crisis. And we must speak truth where silence has become convenient. And we must demand accountability where confusion and control now reigns or reign. We are part of a proud federation, my people. 2 islands joined by law, by history, and by shared responsibility. But let us be clear. Our constitution is not symbolic. As my friend would say, it's a Mickey Mouse constitution, I said earlier. It is a living guarantee, an expectation that St. Kitts shall have its own government. And there will be a federal structure that ensures a fair and equitable share of national revenues. And if necessary, the right to determine our own future. But today, that expectation feels under threat. Not by force, but by failure. Failure at the heart of our existing federal government. Failure by a leader who no longer leads and who has allowed the reins of national governance to slip into the hands of the premier, whose trustworthiness is now openly questioned. The Sustainable Zones Authorization Act has left Brantley standing in the open like an emperor without clothes, naked. His lies are exposed, so he hastily tries to engage stakeholders, my straight dog family. He hastily tries to engage stakeholders.
I can confirm 2 things, well, 3 things for the press. 1, the developers have advised that they will, in short order, be making information available to the public as to the nature of their development. I thought it was important that they provide the information and then we get involved in a public discussion. And then on the SSZ and this proposed development, I've already invited some stakeholder groups, the Chamber of Commerce, and not just the Nevis chapter, but the wider chamber, St. Kitts and Nevis. I've invited them to a meeting. The churches I've invited to a meeting, and the Hotel and Tourism Association, forgive me, I've invited to a meeting. I would want to have a meeting with those key stakeholders and then have meetings with a wider community. of Nevis. In the interim, I'm told that there's a website that is destiny.com where the developers will be uploading information that is on them. It is for them to do. But insofar as I'm concerned, the government does intend to engage with those stakeholder groups.
And my Street Dog family, prior to the chamber engagement with Brantley, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, long-standing member and former president, I believe he was, Charles Wilkin, King's Counsel, I should say, Charles Wilkin, raised some very serious issues via a memorandum he sent to the St. Kitts Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce. I fell short in being able to post it on your monitors tonight. But the content, my Street Dog family, as I said, related to some very, very important issues that he raised. And my Street Dog family, there are several issues, my Street Dog family, that we need to pay some very close attention to. Wilkin spoke, for example, to the Act, which goes a lot further and allows the government to hand over a zone, or to a zone developer, that should be, all powers of government. Can you imagine that? Hand over to a developer all powers of government, save and except foreign affairs, national security, military defense, citizenship by residence, elections, the court system, and any other right or responsibility not transferable to any other person or entity under the Constitution. My Street Dog family, Wilkins noted, and he said, and I quote, "I am not at all surprised, therefore, that the widely held perception is that the Act allows government to create a state within a state, or a second government with the zone developer having powers over all or some matters other than the exceptions just raised in 3 above." And forgive me, I somehow didn't get my PowerPoint downloaded, so you can read along with me. But let's just not pretend we do not see what's happening, because the federal direction is clouded. Decisions are made behind curtains, not in Parliament. Nevis's constitutional entitlements, their rightful share of revenue, development needs, autonomy, are treated as bargaining chips and not guarantees. All the while, the Prime Minister, the one entrusted to guide this federation with clarity and courage, seems content to be guided himself. Confused in vision, uncertain in action, reactive rather than resolute. Who truly governs today, my Street Dog family? Who truly governs today? And we ask ourselves the question: the elected Prime Minister or the unelected influence that surrounds him? Who speaks for the people of St. Kitts when national priorities ignore us? The PM says that St. Kitts does not exist in the Constitution. So who ensures that our voice, our autonomy, is not reduced to a footnote in some backroom political arrangement, my straight dog family. The issues of the SSZ and the issues in Nevis. He asked to be left out. He didn't want to be involved, he said, in that issue. Leave him out. He claimed, my straight dog family. This is what he said.
The Nevis Island administration is responsible for its resources. And therefore, I am not even going to comment on what Nevis should or shouldn't do with its lands. Sometimes I see people trying to pull me in. You can't pull me into Nevis affairs. If Nevis decide to sell the land here, what does that have to do with me? The Constitution recognizes two entities, St. Kitts Nevis and Nevis. St. Kitts is not recognized in the Constitution. Let me tell you how serious this is. Let's say someone from Nevis were to become Prime Minister. They can determine how we manage our land in St. Kitts. But if I am the Prime Minister, I cannot determine how Nevis manages its land. It's a serious constitutional matter, you know. So I say all the time, why are you including me in this? I can't be involved in this. This has nothing to do with me. The Constitution is clear. Nevis manages its lands. St. Kitts Nevis federal government manages the land of St. Kitts. The Constitution allows the fact that if a Nevisian becomes Prime Minister, they can control the land of both Nevis and St. Kitts. But a Kittitian who becomes Prime Minister cannot control ever the land in Nevis.
And what is he doing about it, my straight dog family? Let me say this plainly. St. Kitts is not a dependent. St. Kitts and Nevis are partners in this federation. And we will not be governed by confusion. We will not be sidelined by manipulation. And we will not be lectured into silence while federal decisions grow more opaque and trust grows thin. The Constitution gives Nevis the right to self-governance, yes. And should it ever become necessary, the right to chart its own course entirely. And that is not a threat. It is a constitutional fact, one that exists to protect our people from the very crisis we now face. A lack of federal transparency, a lack of fairness, my straight dog family, and a lack of leadership. We do not seek division, but we will never settle for submission. What we seek, what we demand, is a restoration of constitutional respect. We demand transparent, accountable leadership at the federal level, and an end to this quiet domination of federal affairs by any one premier, whether from Nevis or from St. Kitts, who governs through influence instead of mandate. If the Prime Minister cannot find his footing, if he cannot lead independently, decisively and fairly, then perhaps it is time he stepped aside for someone who can. As a people, we have always stood with dignity, and we will continue to do so. But let no one mistake our patience for weakness. We are watching, we are waiting, and if needed be, we are ready. Let us reflect on the troubling pattern. Terence Michael Drew first declared his ambition to move St. Kitts toward becoming a republic. When he came into office, he said this:
the shifting tides of constitutional change. This tiny island is reconsidering its relationship with the Crown. The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis says he wants to give people a say on who their head of state should be.
the head of state still reside in the monarchy of England. And so that aspect of it is telling us that we are not totally free yet. That consultation or discussion will start sometime during my leadership.
The Prime Minister is also calling for an apology for the monarchy's historic role in the slave trade.
I think that acknowledging that something would have gone wrong, something wrong was done, that acknowledging it and apologizing for it is a step in the right direction.
My Straight Talk family, a noble and perhaps long overdue conversation. Yet, just 2 years after, he journeyed to London to meet the king in a gesture that seemed to contradict the very sovereignty he claims to champion. Was it symbolism or simply confusion? More recently, he traveled to the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, and an opportunity to represent our nation on the world stage. But what did we see? A Facebook photo up with former US President or with current President Donald Trump, captioned with vague promises of partnership and cooperation. We know what that really meant. Pressure. Pressure from the United States over our citizenship by investment program. Pressure that our government appears ready to cave under without consulting us, the people. And then, as if in a haste to shift the narrative, he pivots to Africa, meeting with President Tinubu of Nigeria. Suddenly, my Straight Talk family preaching about trade with the continent. And would you believe he said this, my Straight Talk family? Would you really believe this?
With the matter of food, we have to keep our sources diverse. Right now, I think we depend on maybe one major source of food. We need to, of course, produce more food, and we have seen an uptick, and we'll continue to invest in food. But another market, which is the African market, might have a source. We are looking to new markets, not just to get things from, but for us to send things to. That is why I keep saying that we have to look at not just the small population that we have here, but these are large markets. What can we pump into those markets that we produce here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Pepper sauce. Well, Llewellyn pepper sauce should be making 2,000 bottles. But if she get a market in Africa that want 500,000 bottles because they love the Llewellyn pepper sauce.
Do you believe what you hear, my Straight Talk family? This is the same man who over a year ago said this.
This concept of having Tabasco here started with a conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and our special envoy, Her Excellency Hadia Claxton, who herself would have introduced us to Tabasco. I invited Tabasco as the Prime Minister to St. Kitts and Nevis, where I met with the leadership of Tabasco International, and they would have met with the Honorable Minister of Agriculture as well. And the determination was made then that St. Kitts and Nevis has the potential to be a producer or grower of this pepper, the Tabasco pepper, where we can actually grow it and export it back to Louisiana so that it can be processed into the end product, which is the pepper sauce.
Pepper sauce, my Straight Talk family. Tabasco pepper sauce. But it is as if he was drinking or smoking. He said this.
With the matter of food, we have to keep our sources diverse. Right now, I think we depend on maybe one major source of food. We need to, of course, produce more food, and we have seen an uptick, and we'll continue to invest in food. But another market, which is the African market, might have a source. We are looking to new markets, not just to get things from, but for us to send things to. That is why I keep saying that we have to look at not just the small population that we have here, but these are large markets. What can we pump into those markets that we produce here in St. Kitts and Nevis, pepper sauce. Well, Llewellyn pepper sauce should be making 2,000 bottles. But if she get a market in Africa that want 500,000 bottles because they love the Llewellyn pepper sauce.
They love the Brimson Hill pepper sauce too. A welcome idea, but without a plan. Without foundation, my straight talk without credibility. He talks of pepper sauce and local production, even while our farmers cry out as their peppers rot in the fields and local markets remain under supported, my straight talk family.
For the agriculture section, I don't think the people in charge know what they're doing with the agriculture program. You hear me?
Yeah.
Farmers got too much spoilage out here in the land, can't get it out of the land, and they're asking more people to come plant.
Too much what?
More land for people to plant.
Spoilage. Okay, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I figure something is wrong there too, Margo. Because they were trying to say plant more by 2025 and whatever.
Yes.
But I don't think the marketing part is working.
Marketing.
And I want to agree with you that a lot of food there, but you can't even take it out of the ground because you can't sell it nowhere.
You want storage, you want marketing and all
I
that.
got them out in the ground right now. I call upon someone who is attached to the minister to come look at what I got, so that the minister could see with the two eyes. Here with the individual to two eyes. What paper job what you got to do with the minister? Me and call for the minister of health, I mean call for the minister of education, I call for the minister of agriculture. How come the minister of agriculture ain't got nothing to do with what happened on farm?
Yeah.
Sad. It is sad with how it's going in the country, you know.
Sad, my straight talk family. And that's the disconnectivity I spoke about. Because he said Llewellyn. I didn't call Brimstone, but we have a lot of nice pepper sauces. All of a sudden he recognizes that. Forgot his launch of the Tabasco Pepper project over a year ago. Has this project failed? But this is not leadership, my straight talk family. This is distraction. And while the Prime Minister drifts from issue to issue, the Premier of Nevis is carving out his own path, quietly, deliberately, and dangerously. We now hear talk of increasing the number of parliamentary seats in Nevis. I told you about that on my last program. Want to go to 5, a third of the total, giving Nevis 50% of St. Kitts' representation in the National Assembly. This move, though presented as fear, must be examined, my straight talk family, in the broader context of land, power, and influence. Let's ask the uncomfortable questions. How can one foreign investor absorb 20% of the landmass of Little Nevis? Mark Brantley speaks about land grab, my straight talk family. He speaks about land grab all the time, my straight talk family. Speaks so often, as I said, about the land grab. But he hasn't spoken about the property grab. And he has grabbed some properties. Yes, he has grabbed properties, my straight talk family. But he speaks about the land grab, as I said. He speaks this about the land grab, as I said, my straight talk family, all the time. He does enjoy himself speaking this way.
You talk about land grab, those are land grabs. Because land grab to me is when you grab and you don't do anything with it. You sit down on it. But if you grab a piece of land and you develop it so that people can get jobs and the economy can move forward, then I would not describe that as a land grab. I describe that as investment. It is advancing our economy and advancing our island.
But would he call my straight dog family? Or why has Mark Brantley or Mark Brantley properties like the Seaspawn Hotel and the Caribbean Cove been left dormant for over a decade? Prime land, prime tourism opportunity wasted. The Seaspawn and Caribbean Cove. Mr. Murphy, the white man from the USA, was a financial squanderer who had an idea to put down a mini Disney World and encourage people to invest in his idea, but took their money, which he could not account for, and had to return to the United States. Mr. Murphy eventually died in US jail. With all the mix-up, it's of great interest that somehow Mark Brantley now owns the property. The question is, how did he get it? When, where, and why he just automatically owned the property? But the fact is, it is closed. And that is a tourism, or both are tourism attractions. Seaspawn closed about 14 years ago. And the question is he waiting for Mama Brantley's commission from Olivia Johnson? Will she get commission? Why was the Seaspawn only used to house imported voters from the Dominican Republic in the previous elections? Where is the National Land Use Management Plan for St. Kitts and for Nevis? Why are we making these massive changes without a roadmap? Even worse, the so-called Sustainable Zones Authorization Act, hastily passed, has opened the door for what some are calling a land grab by international billionaires. Meanwhile, Mark is indulging the property grab. But while we debate the foreigners, we ignore the quiet selling out of Nevis by its own leaders, the Premier and his members in cabinet. 10,000 new citizenships are projected to be sold under these zones, my straight dog family. Under this zone, 10,000 citizenships will be sold. And he has already earmarked CBI fees. CBI fees he's looking to grab my straight dog family. He's already has his eyes on those CBI fees. Believe it or not, he's not wasting any time whatsoever, because he wants to get the CBI fees, whether they become citizens rather or not. He said that. Those are his words, my straight dog family. They will have to pay the registration fees for citizenship. 10,000 of them he has already predicted, my straight dog family. He has already predicted to collect registration fees from 10,000. 10,000, my straight dog family. Not 1,000. 10,000 citizens will invade Nevis.
About the connectivity with CBI. Now, one of the things that has been said or mooted in the agreements that are being negotiated is that every single proposed investor in that South Coast project will have to pay the registration and processing fees for citizenship by investment, even if that person does not then want it or apply for it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once you come into that zone, you have to pay the money, right, up front. If you choose not to, because many people choose not to, they're not interested in citizenship, then that's a matter for you. But whether you decide to apply for citizenship or not, you have to pay that money up front. That is one of the aspects that has been negotiated just in terms of generating revenue for the Citizenship by Investment program and for the government of St. Kitts and the government of Nevis as well.
They will all be granted citizenship, my Street Dog family. Don't be fooled. They're trying to appease you. But ask yourselves the question, who benefits? Who profits? Certainly not the everyday citizens of Nevis or St. Kitts, who face rising prices, food prices, crumbling infrastructure, and declining services. So my fellow citizens, I send out a call tonight. Wake up. It is time to rise up. Not with anger, but with purpose. Not with violence, but with vision. This is not just about a confused minister or an ambitious premier. This is about the soul of our nation. We cannot afford to let our country be auctioned off piece by piece without our voice, our input, or our consent. We must demand a full review of the Sustainable Zones Authorization Act with community consultations and parliamentary oversight. A national land use management plan to protect our environment, our heritage, and our sovereignty. A moratorium on further CBI land deals until transparency and accountability are established. A national forum for constitutional reform, where the people of St. Kitts and Nevis can shape the future of our republic together. Real investment in local agriculture and manufacturing, not token statements but policies that ensure farmers can sell their produce and small businesses can thrive. Leadership must not be left to those confused by power or consumed by personal ambition. Leadership must return to where it truly belongs, to the people of this great federation. It is time for us to lead, my Street Dog family. Let us reclaim our voice. Let us reclaim our vision. Let us reclaim our nation from a confused prime minister influenced by a deceitful premier. And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And my Street Dog family, I'll do so momentarily, but it is always my duty to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Street Dog family, try to do the things and say the things that are beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, my Street Dog family, at 5 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, I go to the lines and take my first caller. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Liver.
Good night, my dear.
He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived.
Okay.
I repeat, He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. Have a great evening.
Great evening as well. Always welcome your quotations each time around. He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived as well. It's 9:06, my Straight Talk family. And the lines are open, like I said. We are looking at our thesis tonight, a confused Prime Minister influenced by a deceitful Premier. We looked at a basis for our conclusion. But we also made recommendations as it relates to the issues. For example, we recommend that a full review of the Sustainable Zones Authorization Act is needed through community consultations and parliamentary oversight. A National Land Use Management Plan. How about that? We don't seem to discuss important policy decisions or policy direction like a land use management plan to protect our environment, our heritage, and to protect our sovereignty. What do you think about the moratorium on further CBI land deals? You heard the Prime Minister mention about 20,000 citizens under one project. But think about this. If there are 10,000 citizens or citizenships to be sold, we need some clarity on that. Are they up to 10,000 citizens? What if you have 10,000 families? A family of 4 puts it at 40,000 citizens. This really needs a lot of consultation, Brantley and Terence Michael Drew. What about our Constitution? We can't wait until the next generation. What nonsense has the Prime Minister told us? Enough for the next generation? What's he talking about? Is he serious, my Straight Talk family? But with 10,000 citizens, our population was put at 51,320, I believe it was.
The estimated population of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for 2022 is 51,320 persons, marking an 8.7% increase over the 2011 census count of 47,195 persons. This reflects an increase of 4,125 persons over the 11-year period, averaging an annual increase of 0.76% during the intercensal period. The island of St. Kitts is home to 38,138 persons, accounting for 74% of the federal population, while Nevis, with 13,182 persons, comprises the remaining 26%.
So my Straight Talk family, add 10,000 to that. 10,000. And see where we're going to be. This email reads, Mr. Straight Talk, I take umbrage and very strong objection to the speaker referring to the Honorable Timothy Harris as chaos. Is that good parliamentary language to be used by a speaker whose primary duty is to ensure that such despicable language ought not to be uttered against any member in the House? If that hooligan speaker don't want me to tell her who is chaos and where to find chaos, she better leave Harris alone and remove the tail out of Harris's face. Whenever Harris attends Parliament, this woman disrespecting the man all the time. She giving the false impression that because she is speaker, she knows it all, when in fact she knows absolutely nothing about parliamentary rules. Look how she embarrassed herself with the minutes. And because Harris exposed her incompetence in good faith, she got offended. And the leader of government business himself a novice with the House rules, talking about Harris want to cause a spectacle. When in fact he's the biggest spectacle in Parliament. These two idiots especially believe they will be there forever in the House. Power really gone to their head. With all the silly things they're saying. The arrogant and nasty behavior against Harris is going on too long now and is unbecoming, and it must stop. Otherwise, I will get more nasty with them. Read this email. Hopefully not on Straight Talk, though. When I hear some Labour supporters talking their nonsense like the chief advisor, saying that Harris had a chance to talk about the SS zone in Parliament, and he did not avail himself to whenever that was. Therefore, he has no moral authority to criticize the law now. Dr. Harris, I want to say to you that you are right. And don't be deterred by these hypocrites. These persons, my Straight Dog family, these persons fully well know that whenever you start to make your contribution on any matter, you never fail far. What's that? Because there's a calculated attempt to stop you, to distract you, and to prevent you from bringing out what they have hidden. Therefore, Dr. Harris, whenever you feel to make a public statement on any matter or law, do it outside where no one will be able to stop you from speaking. The obstructive forces in the assembly will also listen to you outside. Invariably, they do listen to you because you are the trendsetter. Furthermore, in fact, many people will tell you they don't even bother nowadays to listen to the House now, but they are turned off with the inappropriate behavior of the ministers in the House. Yes, the lines are open, my Straight Dog family. It's now 13 past the 9 o'clock hour. Our thesis for tonight we are discussing, I have titled, A Confused Prime Minister Influenced by Deceitful Premier. And we looked at the issues as they relate to the confused Premier. It was really shocking to hear him say this, my Straight Dog family, about Llewellyn Peppers. Do you believe he said this? I'm sure we all were taken aback with this.
With the matter of food, we have to keep our sources diverse. Right now, I think we depend on maybe one major source of food. We need to, of course, produce more food, and we have seen an uptick, and we'll continue to invest in food. But another market, which is the African market, might have a source. We are looking to new markets, not just to get things from, but for us to send things to. That is why I keep saying that we have to look at not just the small population that we have here, but these are large markets. What can we pump into those markets that we produce here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Pepper sauce. Well, Llewellyn pepper sauce should be making 2,000 bottles. But if she get a market in Africa that want 500,000 bottles because they love the Llewellyn pepper sauce.
Imagine Terence Michael Joe talking about pepper sauce. Wasn't he the one who introduced this, my Straight Dog family? He was the one who said he introduced this sauce, not Llewellyn pepper sauce.
This concept of having Tabasco here started with a conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and our special envoy, Her Excellency Hadia Claxton, who herself would have introduced us to Tabasco. I invited Tabasco as the Prime Minister to St. Kitts and Nevis, where I met with the leadership of Tabasco International and they would have met with the Honorable Minister of Agriculture as well. And the determination was made then that St. Kitts and Nevis has the potential to be a producer or grower of this pepper, the Tabasco pepper, where we can actually grow it and export it back to Louisiana so that it can be processed into the end product, which is the pepper sauce.
Not to Africa, my straight talk family, to Louisiana. Let's go back to the lines and say, let's take this call. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Actually,
yes, sir.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, I'm trying to be. I was just looking to some papers here.
This is the Major. How are you, Major? Got your voice.
Wait, just two things I want to tell you. That's all. I've been listening to it, and this thing been focusing in my mind to the whole night. This is one. You remember Lyndon B. Johnson? He was the president of the United States, isn't he?
Yeah, former President Johnson, yes.
Yes. And I remember he saying, yesterday is not ours to recover. Tomorrow is ours to win or lose. You will understand by that. You as a teacher, you as our own teacher now, just come back to Winston Churchill, that lion-hearted prime minister. He says, we make our living by what we get, but we make our life by what we give. You as the teacher, you will be able to analyze that and pass that for me, because everybody look like they do their life. We got to set up ourselves and say what we're going to do. We got to set up and say what we're going to do to practice. We can't set them no more. We can't be the junior standard people. I mean, we are in charge of this country. We belong to think it, and people have to make up their mind to do it. It's bothering me, you know. It's bothering me.
It should bother all of us. I say it should bother all of us.
Man, when I think about Nevis had their own government, and I ain't got nothing. What kind of business that is? We got to make up your mind. We got to make up your mind. Because as that lion has the prime minister, you're going to play with him, you know. You're going to play with Churchill. Churchill, remember Churchill tried to mess up with Hitler when Hitler was going on something with the stuff, and Churchill put him on the place. So we got to put somebody on the place. We got to put this good gentleman on the place. Yeah, he run Nevis. Since he want to run Nevis. Now run Nevis and run thinking. When we in junior standard people, I'm bothered about it. I'm very about it. I'm very mad about it. He stood up my mother from there, his father from there. But I born here. I born here. And I got to fight for my people them. My Kiddishan people them. So we're in charge then. They will make up their mind and let me discover the time. Because when it's funny, they're going to build their own. They said they're going to get their own water. No? They have to get their own water.
In the zone, they get their own water and energy, yeah.
So how that could happen, Patches? They ain't from here. So therefore, if I go Nevis tomorrow morning, I want to go this fellow going to get me. You can't walk here. But that's why I am. At the end of that, let me get things sorted out. Because everybody, youngsters, they come and ask me what I think and what I think. We got to be on the own. We gotta go about the business. Yeah, my man allowed this fellow to pull him off. They get four, we get four, they will get 4 votes. They get 3 votes, and he only gets 2. And they get he. They try to buy messages. And that, it says,
You mean in 1980? Wait, when you referring to?
I
don't understand the question.
What is happening?
Yeah.
The reason why that Nevis get to their own government.
Okay.
Because of the farmer administration was Simmons.
In 1980, yeah. Okay, right. Okay.
They get 4 and they get 2 and they try to make 5 and mess us up.
They got 4, PAM got 3,
yeah.
and NRP got 2. Yes, so they have the majority of seats in the parliament.
Yeah, and that's what happened to us.
Yes. And then Simmons Simmons literally gave Sim Daniel everything he demanded.
Yeah,
he demanded his own government, which was right.
Yeah.
He demanded a share in the revenue. And he demanded the right to secede, which he still has, or Nevis still has.
They still have to do it if they want to.
But what you think about what you think about our Prime Minister though, saying that he seems to be comfortable saying that Senkis don't have a government or Senkis don't exist in the Constitution. He should try to change the damn Constitution. Ain't so?
I don't know if you understand. Maybe he didn't recollect what he said.
You think so?
That is maybe he did not understand.
Well, he have repeated it several times.
Why? That's like a record. That's a record decimal.
Oh, yes.
That is a record decimal. You understand what I'm saying? No. I don't believe he understands. I don't understand. And he says if he asks for a break, go to ask for a break and say, well, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I'm making a clarification. We're only human beings.
Yes.
We're subject to mistakes. Maybe I don't know. But I'm worried about that part. I'm telling you the real. Now, Nevis is going to be on top of me. Huh? Nevis is on top of me. Nevis gets, and you told me already that to get some load of money, $66 million, and he's still getting 3 a share. Come on. I'm hot about it. I'm telling you. I'm that person. I don't think. I'm hot. I'm hot. You as a purpose person, you are a purpose person. You're fighting this thing here. And what you're fighting as a purpose, you got to make the thing and you're getting support.
Yes, Major. We need to address these issues. Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your contribution. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Patches.
Yes, sir.
Good night to all the listeners. This is the voice of Winston Welcome, an independent candidate for the next upcoming election. I am only interested in bringing the country and the people to a happy mind instead of a sad situation moving forward. A happy mind. Patches, let me ask you a question. If I should take this government, if I get this leadership, should I win my seat? Would you help me straighten out this country? I depend on you, let me say that. Moving forward, that goes to all other candidates who win their seat in this upcoming election. We all have to join together and make this country excellent.
What do you think about that, though, right? What do you think about that? What do you think about the confused, let's get current, the confused Prime Minister that we have, who is influenced by the deceitful Premier?
Well, my opening statement was that, but let me get to the Premier of Nevis. Mark Brantley, be warned. You are doing stupidness. You are self-aggrandized. And Nevis does not belong to you. The people put you there to represent them, not to take Nevis on your own, like your money in your pocket. You got to cut those selfishness out. Nevis does not belong to you. The people is who Nevis belongs to. You are very selfish. You are very crooked. And it is on notice. You have to stop these things. Else you will end up in a sorry ass place. Patches, I'm only expressing myself.
But your portion, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But your portion all. Wait a minute for me. Wait a minute, can you? I'll give you your time. But you portion all the blame to Brantley. What about the confused? What about the Hello?
I'm coming over to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I'm coming over to St. Kitts. No stone shall be unturned. I happened to meet the Prime Minister 2 weeks ago here Sunday, and we had a famous handshake. I will call it that. Okay, but I put the notice out for the remaining time he has in office, send for me and let me help him straighten out to make the end of his legacy be something of he can look back on. Because right now everything is going downhill, Prime Minister Joe. And you have to be one mind and oneself. Yes, you listen, but you don't have to accept, and you pick out all the substance that makes sense. Clean up the government, clean up the administration. Stop listening to all those betrayers and those persuaders. Be yourself, sir. We don't want this country go down the road that it is going. And I'm going to say, hell no to this SSD zone. We don't need it. Nevis people, if you're poor, stay poor. But not this zone. This zone and these people, they are going to take over Nevis because guess what? They have money to buy anything. We don't. But if they buy you and they buy your land, or they take you and they take your land, where are you going to go? You want to go back to slavery? Yes, you're heading to slavery. Stop Mark Brantley. I am very disappointed, and I will be disappointed if you all continue allow Mark Brantley. Have a peaceful protest in front of his home, in front of his office. Let him not sleep, and all who are involved. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to yield. I'm right now doing some mechanic. I'm a mechanic and I'm a technician. So I am trying to complete a vehicle before I can. But I get the scene. I shall go back to work. Thank you for the time, Brother Patches.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Rather assertive contribution. And yes, you're right, my street of fact. But let's go back to the lines and take this call. Caller, you're live. It's 9:27.
Good night, Mr. Liber. How are you this evening?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And how's the family? Everybody is good?
Everybody's peaceful, thanks. And yourself? Your family?
What is it? What is the topic for tonight?
We're discussing the confused Prime Minister who's influenced by the
advisors them?
Deceitful Premier in Nevis.
Oh, okay. So you know they just have a couple more months and then they're out of office. They're out for good. We don't want them back. I was listening to a song today by Jimmy Cliff, and this is the song he's singing. La, 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 la. Suffering in our land. You hear what I tell you? Suffering since that government here gone in. Since them creep, people gone in to say they want to be government. The place is upside down and backward, not come forward. The own people and all fed up with them. They check everybody. Dr. Just tell lie from the time he was campaigning and from the time he gets in office, he telling lies. And having the people in this country like a laughing stock. And the man there from old world will say, the man will say that plant food and things agriculture people them. He need to go, he don't know what he doing. Can't see any food in the country. All the people living on is rice, macaroni, flour. That's why people gonna get affected by diabetes. Because nothing else in the country. Mr. Liber, you said something tonight and say election is 2020, 26?
26, yes.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Everybody think it and Nevis. You get on board and get ready to get rid of those creep out of the place because they don't know one shit what they're doing. And the man from New Guang, he advisor. Mr. Edmond, he don't know one thing what you do. He don't know here from here. He don't know what he doing. He don't know what he telling Dr. Joe. All of them need to pack up and go now in the audit, The people think it's a Nevis, That an island, Whenever they come in, go to the police station. Wherever they gear you. Check where they gear you and walk them out. Once and for all. You got the market here in Sandy Point. Sometime early up in this year. A trailer break down the market down there up to now, you can't fix it. When the daycare center over Montoya there, I hope Jeffrey listening me, and I hope he the party could hear what I say. Let him go and look about the daycare over 70 points over there Montoya. Let him go look about it, the kitchen one fix. The kitchen need to fix. They don't know what they're doing a lot of nonsense there to these people. But when they come for election, everybody gonna keep silent because everybody know what they're going to do to the polling station. Get the rid of them creep once and for all. You have a good night, Mr. Lloyd.
Good night as well. Always quite emotional. I understand you and can feel your passion. DJ Marisha reads this email. Dwyer will not easily criticize the Prime Minister directly. He will do it indirectly as he's doing because he's ashamed now to say that the Prime Minister has let him down. Remember, DJ Dwyer campaigned robustly for him to be leader of the Labour Party and subsequently Prime Minister. He said he was a saving grace and panacea for the Federation. Dwyer said he was bright, young, and will listen to good advice, but certainly he failed Dwyer completely and is ashamed for not even Dwyer advice is he taking. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
A pleasant good evening to you.
Yes, good evening, my dear, and how art thou?
I'm giving God thanks, and what about you?
I am peaceful. I can see those dimples.
Yep. Yes.
What you going to do with the confused Prime Minister?
What I can't just say, remember he said that he's going to give a shot. But it seemed to me like it's 2 shots he had. So he gave the snake his shot and take the snake shot. So he turned around the shot then.
Okay.
That's how he did to me. And to the dog license guy, I listened to him yesterday and today. And he seemed like he knows more than the QC. That's what he getting $10,000 a month for. To talk nonsense and garbage in the place. He need to come go. They need to get out of here. They're making people sick. They need to get out of here. Patches. They need to come go. You have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well. And I want to thank this caller for holding the caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good night to you and the listeners.
Good night.
Let me get straight to it.
Good night, my brother.
Let me follow up on that female caller there, that lady caller. Yes, indeed. I was listening to that advisor yesterday. And 2 things I'm going to say to him. They got that phone lines locked off over there. One, he said that SSD law doesn't have anything to do with the lands in Nevis. I want to make sure he understands that's incorrect. And secondly, I wanted to also tell him that after all of these weeks of backlashing on the Premier has finally came out and said they have a formal proposal from those developers who are trying to get into that southeast side of Nevis. It's already a formal proposal, Patches. I got that straight from the horse's mouth. And I already heard him say that several times before. So I just want to clarify those 2 points. Indeed, the Prime Minister is operating like he is confused. He tabled that SSC bill, and now it ran through the Parliament, and it's now law and possibly an act, if it's gazetted already. How can he table a bill and then now want to withdraw himself? And another thing that he got to understand is that he is the Prime Minister. He got to start acting like that. The man seemed very, very confused. None of those advisors and also the Premier on the other side None of them is the prime minister. He is Dr. Drew. He got to start acting like that and show strength as a leader. Fact is, right now, he's in a tough place, really, because remember, he promised. He didn't go to England, firstly, to state he's going to take the country republic. He promised it in his campaign. It's possibly part of their manifesto. Now he's coming out acting like he's confused about the Constitution. As a prime minister, Patches, he ain't supposed to be that confused. Not about the supreme law of that land and not about the position that he holds. His job is to unite the people and raise the quality of life of the people. If he can't do that, he needs to vacate the office. Patches, the premier is forging forward. I hope everyone listened to him in his press brief that he had this week. The man said the developers are ready to put the information to the public on their website and such. And they're going to come to the people, possibly with the information, the proposed information and consultation. The man is not going to stop. If Nevis people is concerned about their own lands, they got to stand up now. If they don't stand up, we're going to suck salt later on. The place is already like South Africa under apartheid already. They got pockets of areas in Nevis where these foreigners, quote unquote, mostly the white people, the rich foreigners, whoever they are, they got massive amounts of lands in Nevis already. If we take that 2,400 acres and give it away, man, we are finished with. That developer that's coming, they already got certain amount of acreage in their possession already. And the transparency is not there. We're getting information from behind. Man, this stuff is very disappointing, man. I'm disappointed with all the politicians on the ground. 2026, I hope that comes to reality. Whenever that happens, replace and repeal. Replace all these jokers and repeal all the laws that's not benefiting the people. I'll leave it there, Patrice. Thanks a lot for letting me get that extra time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother, for your contribution and the at 9:39. For those who may be pondering the numbers again, for the program, local number 663-6672. Of course, if you're calling from overseas, then you add 869. The overseas number is 646-829-6672. Patches reads this email. A bird picked me and told me that July falsely rushed to take credit for the EMS response at the recent state funeral service of Sir Edmund Lawrence, giving the impression that it was his call that resulted in the EMS response. This other message reads, Patches, tell the farmers that they can get their produce sold in St. Kitts, but they have the vegetables produce cost too high. Please ask them to lower their price and they will get more sales. Coming from the upset Kittitian. Hello, Mr. Libert. I get the impression that Mark is giving the impression that Nevis is going because he's anticipating that some 10,000 people will be going to get their passports in the CBI. It seems as though we have a new product. We are now selling passports like sugar cakes. Mark, could you tell me if the new industry, which is called the sale of passports, our passport would soon have no value because they would be oversold. We seem to be selling out all our rights. I heard that Drew would be bringing in some 150 nurses from Nigeria. And we have Kititians and Nevisians who apply to be nurses and they cannot get into the nursing field. Help us to get out of this mess. And my Straight Talk family, as that caller mentioned that, I forgot as well to mention the confused state of the Prime Minister, or to provide another example of the confused state of the Prime Minister, who also said this. Oh my, I'm not getting that downloaded. Who also said this, no, about the dialysis machines. And how could I forget that he made this comment as well, my Straight Talk family, about these machines. And he said this, my Straight Talk family, I thought I had this all queued up, but it's 9:42. We have some 80 minutes left for our programming tonight, and we must tell you, for those who may have just joined me, that our thesis tonight, we looked at the confused Prime Minister who is or who was in fact or is in fact influenced by a deceitful premier. And he did in fact say this as well, trying to load that while I'm speaking with you, my Straight Talk family. Why I'm not getting this loaded is anybody's question. But he said this about the number for the program for those who are calling. It's 663-6672. Again, the number for the program is 663-6672. I'm not certain why some folks are trying to call my number. The number is 66. Oh my gosh. The number is 663 6672 again, 663 6672. 663 6672. That's the program's number. 663, one more time, 6672. I was trying to load something here. For some reason, it's just, yes, I finally got it loaded. My Straight Talk family. And we go back to the lines and say good night to caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Patrick.
Yes, my lord. Go ahead.
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
When you said when you said Jerry is coming to St. Kitts.
Who is coming to St. Kitts? When who is coming to St. Kitts?
Jerry, this time.
What they said is It was 48 hours, you said? Give me a second.
In the 48 hours.
I think that's what
that's 2 days from now.
Don't let me misguide you. Just hold a second. It's
That's 2 days from now, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, but what I read tonight, it's
No, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, sir. Quickly.
I am going to say something tonight. I was talking to somebody today. And that is...
Yes, 48 hours, yes.
That is what happened. The Bible is our road map. And whatever the Bible said is coming to pass. That is you read from 49. You hear what the Psalm 49 said?
Unto thee.
It said our redemption.
What's name?
Our redemption precious.
Just read it. Go ahead.
He said nobody could give God a ransom for you.
Okay.
And so, Mr. Pattis, all we have to do, put our confidence solely in God. Mr. Pattis, it is good to give God thanks and praise every day. Today is the 9th day of October. And so God hears another time. The word of God says in Lamentation, it is mercy that we are not consumed, because they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. I just will have nothing by the grace of God to worry me head about. All me interested to looking for the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. And as born again believers have to put their confidence and solely in God. He said, you don't have the continuity, but you seek one to come. Okay, a lot of people don't really matters. A lot of people taking this whole world as their home. Okay. But one of these days, they are going to regret. The word of God said in Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7, be not deceived. God is not mocked. What a man for it.
So shall we reap. Thanks a lot, Mr. Bibleman. Thanks a lot. You there?
Hello.
Yeah, just wrap for me. I got a lot of lines, people waiting on the line.
No problem, Patrick. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks a lot for your intervention. That's the Bibleman. Always welcome your spiritual interventions. And I forgot to expose this lie again from our confused Prime Minister, who responded to this question.
An issue at the hospital a few weeks ago regarding dialysis patients and their treatment. Please clarify the situation and say whether the issue have been rectified.
This dialysis center serves both St. Kitts and Nevis. because there's no dialysis in Nevis. What you might have heard is that the specific fluid we use, that we had to get in, but it didn't stop. We made sure what they did is to make sure that during the transition of getting that fluid, because it can happen from time to time, that people will still be able to dialyze. And so we got, I think, 30 cases, and in another 30 cases, 60 cases. And then, because only 2 countries in the Caribbean that use that type, might be us and Grenada. And then we have, I think, the 8th of this month, we'll have hundreds of cases coming in, or well over 100. So these matters in terms of the ebb and flow of things can happen. What I've picked up is there are those out there who just want to seem like they want to see everything fail. But everything ain't going to fail. And so if there is an issue in the ebb and flow of things, there is an exaggeration of what is taking place.
But Prime Minister, he wasn't aware, or he tells so many lies, to be quite frank, that he obviously overlooked that his own member of the hospital did in fact release that note of trust, which is very clear, and you can read it. He said people were still being dialyzed. What a lie, my Straight Talk family. What a blatant lie. Because you can glean from your monitor that it says in the penultimate paragraph there from the director of health institutions, Dr. Morton, Jensen Morton, the brief closure of the dialysis unit was necessary. It was closed. That's what he says. So what is Terence Jew talking about? Well, it was not closed. The place was closed. Why does he have to lie? Is everybody's question. He lies, as we say, like when horse a trot. Caller, you're live. Hello,
I'm live?
Yes, you're live, sir.
Okay. Patches, am I on?
Yes, sir, you're live. You're live. Yes, you are live, and the whole world is listening to you.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's a little more than I want. All I want is our people here to listen and recognize that they got a couple problems, and until they are addressed properly, you're going to be having this conversation going over and over again. Number one, it is your constitution. And there's no point looking and trying to fault and blame anybody. It is what it is right now, and it needs to be addressed. Secondly, as far as the land is concerned, let me remind you, Patches, on another program that you had, I sent you a document that was prepared by Dr. Len Ishmael when she was at the OECS Secretariat.
Yes.
And it showed that what's happening land in these areas, that once it comes out of local hands, it ain't coming back. Okay? You don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. But none of us have the right to sell out the future of people yet unborn. Okay?
True.
All that we're seeing now is exactly what Bradshaw tried to prevent. And here we are. And let's not place blame. Let us sort of find out how we're going to go forward properly. Do you realize that the current government and the one before, and the one before that, and the one before that, which started this thing about these passports, all we were doing is living on a credit card called CBI. At one time, it was a card without a limit. Within the last couple of years, we see that different governments have put pressure on. So there are some limits right now. But if anybody thinks that we're going to go back to the days when you just money all over, it's not going to happen. And then we look around, and you mentioned something about the government going to the UN. And I noticed that one of these people has now been appointed as a high commissioner to a very large country. Mark my word, this country is going to regret it. Okay? This country is going to regret it. They should be looking into the background of people like those before they appoint them.
You care to say that, high commissioner?
Pardon me?
You care to say that high commissioner?
Anybody can go on the internet, pick off the list of your high commissioners, and 2 plus 2 is going to be 4. Okay? And no, there's a reason why I don't want to call his name, because there's too much that I know.
Okay.
There's too much that I know. And I don't want to start in the... It's the same thing. You remember some time ago you had that guy, that Russian clown who sell out all kinds of people and get a little 2-year sentence when he was supposed to be in jail for around 25 to 40 years. Okay? You don't get entangled with them, because it's not about them. It's about this country. Here we are. As a matter of fact, if there's an election anytime soon, a lot of people who normally want to come home to vote, they ain't going to come home. You know why? Because they don't know if they're going to be able to go back. Okay? And here we are. If we are sick, we can't go to their hospitals. They're not going to let you into their country. But here we are, giving away everything. And I agree. I didn't see the details of what Casey Wilkin wrote. But what I'm saying is that when you want to take 20% of the land of Nevis and put it under the control of some little special group, and I think it's trite. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that you hear statements like, oh, the Premier said that his wife was in real estate before he became Premier. That is true. But then let him say today that she does not benefit from proximity. Okay? And even if it is true that she does not benefit from proximity, there is this perception. Okay? There is a perception that is not good. And until such time as you get a group in there who are going to address the Constitution and look at land use management and some of these major things, you are going to be having to have your program just run and run all the time. Okay? I mean, like the Bible man, he's going to come on and he is going to be helpful. And there's a place for the Bible man and what he's got to say. And as far as the person with the quote is concerned, all good. But we also have to say, what is the big picture? Okay? Right now, how many groups have got how many passports to sell? Still, we don't know that. There's talk about one group having 5,000. Next thing you hear, no, it's not 5,000, 500. And it's if all of those people, for whatever reason, decide they want to come back here, what are they going to do with our infrastructure? Have we got enough water for them? Have we got enough electricity for them? And when there's a squeeze, who are going to be people squeezed? Local people. So, Patches, I wish you well. Go on, you're doing what you're doing. But don't forget the big picture. It has to be addressing the passport. The land use management. That's one of them. Addressing the Constitution and being very careful about the people that you put in power to represent you abroad. Okay? Now, my view is I would really hope that Mr. X does not choose to pick on me, because then he'll force me to defend myself, and it will be to his chagrin. Enough said, Patches. I'll continue listening to your program.
Thank you very much for your contribution, my Lord, and I'm sure that many would have sat up and listened up to your contribution. But very important point about the land use management. Yes, I do recall that paper written by Dr. Len Ishmael, former OECS Director General, was the title. But I have somebody in the line. Forgive me, caller. I forgot you. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, Patches.
I am sorry about that. I'm really, really sorry about that. But good to have you.
Yeah, good night, Patches.
Good night, man. That sounds like my brother.
Good night, big brother.
Yes, how art thou?
I am my Zulu, you know that.
I Zulu. Selwyn.
Yeah.
From the garage.
You're funny, Patches. You know, you're my big brother.
Yes, how art thou, man?
I'm great. You know, you have to listen to the speech of the Prime Minister of Barbados. She expanded the matter of our life and our existence of the whole Caribbean initiatives. Mm-hmm. What happened to life is that she have put it in the General Assembly of the United Nations what our cause, our intention is. That woman is a great woman. Why don't our Prime Minister of our own country she call her and say, I would like to learn from you. She's a woman amongst women. And she's a leader amongst leaders. The Prime Minister of Barbados is a genuine and executive-minded person who have so a diplomatical awareness of life to talk to the world. Look how she expand her explanation to the world for the African suffering, the general suffering of world all over.
Yep.
That woman is a woman amongst women.
Well said. Thanks a lot.
She's a leader. She's a leader.
Yes, she is. Thank you kindly, my brother. Good to hear you. And I'm sure everybody would agree with you in respect of the capacity of Mia Amor Motley. She always
she's a great woman.
Yes.
We need to learn from her.
Yep. Okay.
We could ask our Prime Minister to go and talk to her and learn from her.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, my brother.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, take care of yourself.
Your greatness, your enthusiasm throughout the whole Caribbean.
Thank you, my brother. I'm humbled. Yes, that's coming there from the New York area. My brother from another mother, Izulu, talking what we all know about Mia Amor Motley and her presentation. It seemed to be an annual thing nonetheless at the UN. Patches, I was very impressed with the caller who educated us. What is his name? Who is the ambassador he is referring to? He has educated me and others. Say thanks to that caller. Read this email. It's 4 past the 10 o'clock hour. I normally like to give you back the time I deprived you of. I started a few minutes late, so I'll take perhaps maybe 2 more calls as we wind down tonight's programming. For those who joined us late, we in fact discussed, our thesis for tonight, a confused prime minister influenced by this deceitful premier. And my straight dog family, I'm sure all agree. And this email writes, Mr. Liebert, one question. Why the St. Kitts Times or another media and other media are silent on your story you brought about the criminal investigation about the bank? What is your opinion on this? Wow. Well, most of our media houses, like I always like to say, they are just palace guards, you know. They are afraid to address what seem to be controversial issues. And they need not worry, because all they have to do is get the facts. And the facts are there. The bank is quiet, the National Bank is quiet, and we will continue on that story sometime. We're not going to give up on that story. It's not done. We did a part 1 and a part 2, and other parts are going to come. But it's 10:06, and as we wind down tonight's programming, we discuss, as I said before, we discuss the thesis tonight, a confused prime minister influenced by deceitful PM. And I want to beg your forgiveness for not being able to post that memorandum by King's Counsel Charles Wilkin. But I promise you next time around I'll have it. Somehow my equipment was not reading that PowerPoint, so you have to forgive me for that. But we asked several questions tonight, my Straight Talk family. One, and that caller before raised it, where is the National Land Use Management Plan? And why are we making these massive changes without a roadmap? Even worse, the so-called Sustainable Zones Authorization Act, hastily passed, has opened the door for what some are calling a land grab by international billionaires. But while we debate the foreigners, we ignore the quiet selling of Nevis by its own leaders, chief of them, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley. He's selling out Nevis. 10,000 new citizens are projected to be sold under this particular zone. And he has warned us that every one of them will have to pay the CBI fees. This is what he said.
About the connectivity with CBI. Now, one of the things that has been said or mooted in the agreements that are being negotiated is that every single proposed investor in that South Coast project will have to pay the registration and processing fees for citizenship by investment, even if that person does not then want it or apply for it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once you come into that zone, you have to pay the money, right, up front. If you choose not to, because many people choose not to, they're not interested in citizenship, then that's a matter for you. But whether you decide to apply for citizenship or not, you have to pay that money up front. That is one of the aspects that has been negotiated just in terms of generating revenue for the Citizenship by Investment program and for the government of St. Kitts and the government of Nevis as well.
He's trying to fool us, my Straight Talk family, because the developer Oliver Johnson's himself first acquired his citizenship. He's a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Is he going to encourage all the membership of his enclave to have citizenship? Nonsense. Don't be fooled by Mark Brantley. But we ask the question, who benefits? Who profits? A caller earlier mentioned Mama Brantley. And asked if she will benefit from proximity. That's the word he used. I like that word. But certainly not the everyday citizens of Nevis or St. Kitts, who face rising food prices, crumbling infrastructure, and declining services. But our confused Prime Minister, like I said, he spoke about becoming a republic. Then he ran to see the king. And now he is running every day to see Tinubu in Nigeria, one of the world's most corrupt leaders. But he mentioned our ability to trade with Nigeria. And would you believe one thing he mentioned was in peppers? Believe this?
With the matter of food, we have to keep our sources diverse. Right now, we depend on maybe one major source of food. We need to, of course, produce more food, and we have seen an uptick, and we'll continue to invest in food. But another market, which is the African market, might have a source. We are looking to new markets, not just to get things from, but for us to send things to. That is why I keep saying that we have to look at not just the small population that we have here, but these are large markets. What can we pump into those markets that we produce here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Pepper sauce. Well, Llewellyn pepper sauce should be making 2,000 bottles. But if she get a market in Africa that want 500,000 bottles, because they love the Llewellyn pepper sauce.
All of a sudden, my Straight Dog family, he pivots to Africa, meeting with Tinubu of Nigeria, suddenly preaching about trade and pepper sauce. Would you believe that? This is the same man who told us about Tabasco pepper. Caller, I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity at this time. You're live. Hello?
Yeah, Patches, one quick question before you get off. If some corrupted stuff happens over on the Nevis end, with government officials there, does it concern the Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis? That's a question.
Is it
and lastly, as you listen to that clip with the Premier talking about those citizens that's potentially going to come in on that zone, and they got to pay those fees, that is taking this stuff to another level. If him and his wife cleans up all around the board with that project coming in, as being a realtor and being a lawyer, I personally believe the Premier got to be careful. Patches, this type of stuff cannot happen in the United States or some other countries around the world. No one can convince me that there is no conflict of interest here. If he takes this to another level and all of those fees is paid through his law firm, Patches, that stuff will need an investigation. The Premier got to be careful. I'm saying it again. You see, when the judicial system is corrupted and the laws are only being passed to get at the poor people, and when white-collar crimes are being committed and they are not being held accountable, this is what they do. And I say on here many a times, there is no opposition across the narrows, and this is where it has led us. But the Prime Minister and the AG got to be paying attention to what's happening on Nevis. We are a federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not just St. Kitts or not just Nevis alone. The Prime Minister, he's in a bad position. He needs help. And that person who's recommending Mia Motley, indeed, the Prime Minister probably needs to stage a state visit from one of these Caribbean leaders who can come in and give him some solid advice. I'll leave it there, Patches, man. He said he was going to take us republic. He's not delivering on that. No, he's talking about the flaws of the Constitution. And he is the one that's supposed to go in that parliament and make them changes now while he got the majority and while it looks like he got those 3 seats from Nevis as his backbench as well. Not leaving this stuff up to no next generation when changes are needed and the people are asking for these changes. He should do it now. The position that he impacts is what he's going to do now. Is he going to take us republic or is he going to change that constitution? And that's where he at between that rock and a hard place right now. Either way he go with it, changes will have to be made. And then so therefore, that's why you're hearing him talking about let he punt this down to the next generation. He is not capable to go either way with it now. Because either way you go with it, the Constitution will have to get changed. No one on the ground wanted to do the work to change that Constitution. We'll be here another 42 years talking about this stuff. Let's see. I'm daring the Prime Minister again. Take that step, Republic now. Leave it there, Patches, tonight. Good night, man.
Thank you very much. My Straight Talk family. I'll take on this final call. Caller, I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity again. Are you there?
Yes, Patches are right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think recognizing Mia Motley to King lawyer here going work. Mia Motley want to see him because he tells too many lies. And Mia Motley don't want to see him. So don't recognize him to go to Mia Motley. He's a lawyer and Mia Motley can't take on that. You have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear. Well, that's where we're going to end it, my Straight Talk family tonight. And my fellow citizens, I leave you with the quotation as well. He who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. It's time to wake up, my people. It's time to rise up, not with anger, but with purpose. Not with violence, but with vision. This, what we presented tonight, was not just about a confused prime minister. It was more than that. It was not about an ambitious premier. Tonight, it was about the soul of our nation. We cannot afford to let our country be auctioned off piece by piece without our voice or our input or our consent. Imagine 20% of Nevis going to foreigners. That shouldn't be. We must demand a full review of the Sustainable Zones Authorization Act with community consultations. We must demand a national land use plan to protect our environment, our heritage, and our sovereignty. We must demand a moratorium, a stay on further CBI land deals. until transparency and accountability are established. We must demand a national forum for constitutional reform where the people of St. Kitts and Nevis can shape the future of our republic together. And now, we can't leave that for the next generation. What is Terence Michael Drew thinking about? Is he smoking? Is he drinking? And we must demand real investment in local agriculture and manufacturing. Not token statements, but policies that ensure farmers sell their produce and small businesses can thrive. Leadership must not be left to those confused by power, like Terence Michael Drew, or those consumed by personal ambition. Leadership must return to where it truly belongs, to the people of this federation. It is time for us to lead. Let us reclaim our voice. Let us reclaim our land. Let us reclaim our vision. Let us reclaim our federation from a confused prime minister influenced by a deceitful premier. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to thank Almighty God. I must thank Almighty God in the first instance for guiding our conversation tonight, as always. I thank you, all of you who called, those of you who sent emails, and those of you who just listened, who viewed. Remember, every single one of you makes Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I'm Ian Patches Liber and God's Spear. We will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceives, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So until we connect on Thursday, same time, same place, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect again.